Hi, this is Bruce Buffer, your voice of the Octagon, and you're listening to MMA Mental.
We're now joined by Judo Jimmy Wallhead. Jimmy, I'm sure as everyone knows, coming off a massive win. He fought Matt Veach at welterweight at Bamma 12 and completely smashed him. So, Jimmy, first of all, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problems, man. Thanks a lot.
Right, let's talk about your fight. Do you want to give us your views? I know you said you've watched the fight back. Do you want to give us your views on the fight?
Yeah, well, I think it's probably one of my best performances to date. Never felt so comfortable going into a fight. I certainly believe I prepared the best I've ever prepared. Covered all my bases, nutrition properly for the first time. Good sports psychologist getting me ready for it as well, and it was like everything worked and made me perform to my fullest right now.
To be honest with you, it was an absolutely fantastic performance. I mean, obviously, before all the fights, as a fan, I always have an idea in my head how I see the fight going. And I honestly thought you were going to win that fight. I didn't expect you to win like that, and that's not to take away from you. That's just because of how good, Matt Veach is. People need to know. I mean, Matt Veach has fought in the UFC, and he's been in the rings with the likes of Paul Kelly and Frankie Edgar. I mean, this guy's no joke. But you beat him more dominant than anyone's ever beaten before that I've seen, anyway.
Yeah. Who's one's quick to a slick submission off? Who was it? Pushing the build-up. Drew Fickett submitted him quick. Just come out and a couple of swings, took him down, and basically got armbarred pretty quick. That's probably his quickest defeat. But I've never seen anyone beat him up quite as bad as I did at the weekend. So I take a lot of pride in that. Like you say, he's got good resume, and like I say, he got a fight of the night in the UFC against Edgar. So to do what I did, with that behind him, makes me feel even more proud of it, to be honest.
I actually thought, watching the fight, I thought the fight should have been stopped from the elbows, because they were really cutting him up, and I thought personally the ref should have stepped in. And I actually think as well, at that stage of the fight, I think you'd already beat him and he was looking for a way out, and the choke was obviously there. Your choke was there, you worked for that choke, but I think he was probably just as relieved to get choked as what you was probably to get the hold on, to be honest with you. I mean, you had landed some nasty elbows. I mean, they'd sliced him open.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your build-up to your fight. How you talk there about some of the things you were doing in the build-up. Who were you training with, and how long did you train for the fight, and how did training go?
Yeah, well, we're just changing things at Rough House. Rough House in general, we've got a full-time schedule now where everyone's in the gym at the same time every day. Owen King is coming in, who's a former world champion kickboxer. He's coming in as the full-time striking coach at Rough House. I still use Owen Comrie, who's my original striking coach as well. I still see him once, twice a week. Who else we got? We've got Trevor Hoskins, who's an amazing wrestling coach. He's the Rough House wrestling coach now. Doing some really good things for all of us. I still use Victor Estima, also Lee Livingston, been doing jiu-jitsu with him. And then obviously my conditioning is all with Mark Jarvis, and I'm in the best physical shape I've ever been in, thanks to him. And then along with a big massage guy that sees me twice a week, keeps my body in great nick, Paul White. I'm just nutrition. Ben Crook at Bloomer Nutrition did all my diet for that fight. I stuck to it absolutely brilliantly, and just how good I felt after having a proper diet leading into the fight was amazing. And then Dean Hammersinger did my weight cut, an amazing weight cut and rehydration. And Matt Walton took care of all my psychological preparation. And like I say, it's a lot of names I just reeled off there, and literally I'm blessed to have all them people behind me, because every single one is as important as the other. And for the first time in 8 years as a pro, like I said on the weekend, I've got every base covered for the first time, and I think it showed.
Well, it's if that's you with every covered base, I think it certainly did show. You talked there about your weight cut. Out of interest, how much weight did you have to cut on the week of the fight?
Mate, not that much, to be honest. Because obviously I brought the food down gradually and did it all properly and stuff. For a change, I fought before. I never got into a fight feeling good. I fought before and not had carbs for 10 days, before the fight and stuff. I had carbs up until the Wednesday. I didn't have any carbs on Thursday. Did my water load and felt absolutely fine and full of energy. woke up on the morning, working at 79.5 kilos, squatted 2 kilos, and that was it. I went back in around 84, 85 kilos, so, you know, it was real comfortable, real well by being after the I didn't just ate loads of good food. Not, you know, I was basically gorge a little bit, to be honest, but, you know, he made sure I was eating controlled and no crap, and like I said, the guy at Blue Nutrition, Ben, as well, that did all my weeks leading up to the fight, that had a massive effect in making it so easy as well, so like I said, I'm just blessed to have all these people helping me out, really.
So no, I know after the fight, you were obviously interviewed in the cage, and you talked about your deal with Bamma. How long how many fights have you got with Bamma?
Yeah, I signed a 4-fight deal, 4-fight contract.
Fantastic. So do you know? I know it's too soon yet, but do you know roughly when you'd like to get back in? Because I don't imagine, and this might be me being a bit ignorant, but I don't imagine you took much damage in that fight.
Mate, no, I broke my hand though.
Oh, what before?
My hand's in plaster right now.
Oh no! When did you break it in the fight?
Yeah, I think when we were standing up after I rocked him with the elbow, he backed me up, and then I watched the fight, and I believe when I wobbled him and his head was going low and he was trying to swing over the top. Actually, it was only a little shot, but I think it's when I landed a right hook on the top of his head because he knocked his head down. And I've just got a clean break on my index finger metacarpal just behind the knuckle. So 3 weeks in plaster. It's a clean break right across, but it's not crooked or anything. And they said it'll heal really well because it's done out of line. So I'm lucky in that sense. Obviously not lucky to have done it, but it should. Like I say, 3 weeks the plaster's come off, no problems, and then it's just about looking after it. It could be 6 weeks ready till I spar again. So. Again, a bit of bad luck there, but hopefully, I'll eat clean, I'll rehab it properly, and it'll be ready as quick as it can possibly be ready. So, just hoping for a bit of luck on the repair of that. To be honest with you.
Oh, I suppose that's part of the game. Unfortunately, it's just obviously what you need to do is you need to throw more elbows.
There you go, absolutely. I've never broke my hand before in my life either. So
that's so unlucky.
Well, so.
And I bet you've obviously in the past you've been in some proper wars, and no disrespect to Matt, but this wasn't one of those fights, and to come out with that kind of injury.
Yeah, that's just typical, isn't it?
Well, obviously, talking a little bit about Bamma as well. I mean, obviously, the whole event at this weekend, I know you use the headline, but the whole event was fantastic. I mean, especially the main card, it was an amazing event. The televised part of it was brilliant. Have you got your eye on anybody you'd like to fight on the Bamma roster?
I haven't got my heart set. I haven't got my eye on anyone on the Bamma roster. I've just got my heart set on chasing the world title. Okay. And because that's vacant, obviously that's not. I've not got my eye on anyone. I've got my eye on the prize. And in my, I'm happy how Bamma brought over 3 great opponents from there, and I'm sure they'll just keep doing that. That's what I'm hoping.
Fantastic. Well, I really one again. I've said it already, but congratulations! It was a fantastic performance at the weekend, and obviously thank you for that's my pleasure. Thank you for giving us your time today. Before we let you go, is there any shout outs you want to do? Let people know about let people know your Twitter handle as well, so they can follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, well, follow me at Judo Jimmy on Twitter, and just thank you to Bamma for deciding me and giving me these great opportunities. All my team. I'm not going to go into details, as like I said, I've mentioned a few already, but there's so many people behind me. I've got a lot of sponsors as well. Gravy's Way at QAV, Multi-Power Professional, CSS Security. There's so many, man. I know I can't remember them all without having a list in front of me. But everyone who is behind me, again, I know I'm blessed to have you all, and I really appreciate the support of everyone and the fans. The crowd were amazing on Saturday, and again, thank you to everyone who supports me, really.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, Jimmy. It was much appreciated.
No problem, mate. Pleasure. Thank you.